Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're learning Yevamot page 32, which discusses a situation where a person can actually violate two prohibitions with one action. In the event that you have a woman that you have relations with who was your mother-in-law and also married. So those are two separate prohibitions, and it's actually discussed. It depends on what took place first. So in other words, let's say this woman was your mother-in-law, but she herself at the time when you got married, she was not married. So there's only a prohibition of taking her because she's your mother-in-law. If afterwards she gets married, so there is the generic issue of having relations with a married woman. So because that is the order, the question stands, do we punish this individual for the crime of having relations with your mother-in-law or for being with a married woman? Now, actually, there is no dispute in that circumstance because the punishment, which is actually a death penalty, which of course requires witnesses and proper warning, that is the most severe punishment, the most severe death penalty of the four, namely through sreifa or burning. When it comes to Ashes Ish, with being with a married woman, in that situation the punishment still is extremely severe, but it is chenek, strangulation. So the question really stands, you can't obviously kill someone twice. So why does it really matter, except for the fact that maybe, obviously, the death penalty? But in this circumstance, the Talmud tells us that when it came to the cemetery plots, there were actually different locations and places for individuals who committed different levels of crime. And when it came to the courts that issued capital punishment and actually sentenced criminals to death, it depended on what crime they committed. And because there was, again, 4 levels of death penalties, they actually put the 2 most severe death penalty punishments, those individuals that were punished in that way, they were in the most severe cemetery for the most wicked individuals, as opposed to being in a different cemetery. And according to this is why it's important for us to know in which location this person should be buried.